Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Daniel Epstein. I am the founder and CEO of the Unreasonable Group, and it is my distinct pleasure and privilege to be welcoming you to the first ever podcast that we are aptly naming Unreasonable Stories. This podcast is about uncovering the untold stories of unreasonable people. Now, what do I mean by unreasonable people? I mean individuals who are setting out to define progress in our time. George Bernard Shaw, the Irish playwright, has a quote that resonates with all of us within the unreasonable community when he said that the reasonable person adapts themselves to the world. The unreasonable one persists in adapting the world to themselves. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable person. If George Bernard Shaw is right, if all progress depends on unreasonable people, then we can't afford not to bet on unreasonable individuals, and we also can't afford not to know their stories, not to understand the work that they are leading, and not to become a part of the solutions that they are wielding. And that is what this podcast is about. I'm going to have intimate one-on-one conversations with entrepreneurs across our fellowship who have some of the top highest efficacy science-based solutions on Earth towards the ecological and societal challenges that we face. I'm going to be sharing conversations with executives at multinationals that are trying to bend the arc of their institutions towards a brighter future. I'm going to have conversations with investors and philanthropists, with sovereign wealth funds, with foundations who are all trying to usher in a new era of investment towards a brighter future, towards defining progress in our time. So the first episode is going to be with a dear friend and a reasonable fellow, Ryuichi, who is the co-founder and CEO of Craif, a Japanese-based company that is helping us move from a sick care system to a healthcare system. They have a technology that is already in market in Japan, soon to be here, hopefully in the United States, and then scale globally, that can analyze your urine and detect 10 of the most common cancers: lung cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, rectal cancer, at not stage 3 or stage 2, but stage 1 and stage 0. This is a non-invasive solution that takes us into a future of preventative medicine using artificial intelligence and machine learning unlike any that I have personally come across. So we're going to get to hear and understand the story behind the technology, yes, but also the story behind the individual, Ryuichi. Why it is he co-founded this company, what's hardest about trying to bring this new solution into the world and into our everyday lives, and how it is that we can become a part of the solution. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I believe I will. For context here, and for full disclosure, I have personally invested into Craif. We did syndicate an investment round into the business. And it's a privilege to be a part of their cap table. That said, that is not influencing the conversation we are about to have. We brought Ryuichi into the Unreasonable Fellowship via our Unreasonable Impact program that we run in partnership with Barclays. He came in through the Asia Pacific gathering in 2024. We've been fast friends since then. It's been a privilege to be able to witness the evolution of the company and participate in its growth. So without further ado, let's meet our friend Ryuichi. Ryuichi, I am so grateful that you're taking the time to have this conversation, and the chance to hang out with you is always a gift. So thank you, brother, for making the time.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm really excited.
You don't even know what we're going to talk about, but I'm excited too. It's good to be here. It's good to be here with you. We first met in Malaysia for the Unreasonable Impact Asia Pacific gathering, I think in 2024. So it wasn't that long ago. It's been less than 2 years that I've known you, but I actually feel like I know you much better than that. And it's been a huge privilege to have you in the fellowship, to have the chance to personally invest and syndicate into Craif, into your company. I and everybody who learns about what you do, I found, is a huge believer. So I'd love to start just with that, which is, what is Craif? What is it that you and your team are working towards, and why does it matter?
What we're working on is we're trying to build a world where everyone can live healthy. This sounds it doesn't sound special, but I think it's one of the most important things. for everyone. And I'm from Japan. I'm born there. I'm born and raised in Japan, and Japan is the most aging society in the world, and people are living longer than ever, which is a good thing. But at the same time, struggling by diseases more than any time in history. So we want to solve this problem. We want people to live happily and energetic, doing challenging what you want to do in your whole life. So right now, the center of healthcare is these treatments like drugs, and these solve problems. But ultimately, I believe that prevention and early detection is the solution to create a society where everyone can live healthy. So I want to show the new healthcare, a new society where everyone lives healthy, and we're starting with cancer. So we're working on early cancer detection using urine as a sample.
Amazing. It reminds me of an adage, and I might have first heard it from you, but it really resonates, which is how might we move from a sick care system to a healthcare system, i.e., focus on health, focus on prevention. I think what's brilliant about what you're doing is you said we're starting with cancer, which is probably the one disease that most everybody alive above the age of 30 has probably been impacted, either them personally or someone they know or love has been really impacted by it. So if you're using urine to go after early detection of cancer, how does that work as compared to, of course, I can go get my blood drawn right now and get that tested? What's the difference here?
Yeah, so there's two important points.
Yeah.
One is urine itself, and another point is the biomarker we are looking, which is
Yeah.
called microRNA. It's miRNA, and it's one species of, it's like one type of RNA. This is used for cellular communication. So it's like an email of a cell.
Hmm.
And cancer cells are very aggressive. They rapidly grow. So they send a lot of emails compared to
Got it.
healthy cells. They secrete more than 10 times microRNA
Got it.
compared to healthy cells.
Yeah.
So we want to do early detection. And microRNA is a signal that is suited to detect early because cancer cells release it from early
Mhm.
stages.
Mhm.
Another point is urine. And
Yeah.
people undervalue urine. Everybody in the world thinks that blood is the best body fluid
Mm.
for
Detection.
precise detection. This is actually false. Since we found it, we consistently compared blood and urine. Consistently, urine is
Mhm.
better. Data
Yeah.
is better. And we first, actually, when I met you,
Yeah.
we didn't know what was happening yet. We
Mhm.
thought that there's this impurity, so urine is working better. But what we found is that we just accepted the publication. The kidney is selectively releasing cancer cell signals to urine. One of the function of kidney is selecting what's important for the body and what's not important for the body. And what's not important is released to urine. So cancer cell signals are something bad for your body. So I'm guessing that there's a mechanism
It's
that
secreting them.
our body, exactly.
Huh.
So, using urine as a body fluid and microRNA as a biomarker, urine is enriched. The microRNA signals are enriched. So, by detecting it, we can detect cancer much more higher accuracy than the conventional method can do.
Got it. So probably higher accuracy, and thereby I'm assuming earlier. What stage cancers are you able to detect?
We can detect from stage zero in the real world study. I think it's after Unreasonable.
Yeah.
We did a real world study in the northern area in Japan,
Yeah.
and we found stage zero lung cancer. You can't see an X ray.
It's not visible. Wow.
By CT, you can find it, but you need to look very carefully. And the doctor were surprised. A urine test can find stage zero lung cancer. Our assay is very powerful. Basically, the accuracy is 90%. For pancreatic cancer, for stage 1 and 2, accuracy is 93%. So it's
Wow.
extremely high. Conventional method, blood marker, is 37% for stage 1 pancreatic cancer.
Get out of here. And this is all validated in studies that's been published.
Yes, and it's published, yes.
Wow, wow, wow. And what cancers are you detecting right now? You mentioned pancreatic, you mentioned lung.
Yeah, we now detect 10 and we're expanding to 18. We have clinical trials, so like breast, ovarian, colorectal, all those major cancers are covered.
This is wild, Ruichi. I did not know about the stage zero either. It's incredible. And of course you haven't talked about the benefit, which is really obvious too, which is blood is invasive. I have to get it drawn. Urine, I'm excreting. Obviously, in that sense. I'm curious, the miRNA that you described as an email between the cancer cells to communicate with one another. I think that's a really strong analogy. Do you know why the cancer cells use it to communicate with each other, or what it is they're communicating, what those signals are designed to do?
Yeah, so microRNA itself is, also the healthy cells use it. So it's the basic function of our body. And for example, if you want nutrition, you need blood vessels to come so you could get blood, which is nutrition, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't come automatically. You need to send signals so that the vessels actually come to you. So cancer hack these functions. They use our function to conquer our body. And so for getting nutrition, also escape immune surveillance, escaping from our immune system, they send that I'm not cancer cells, I'm not a bad cell, and they fake it.
They hacked the email of the healthy cells. They're sending out way more signals through microRNA to say, hey, I'm actually really great. And then, in essence, your kidney's trying to process that, say, no, 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 this is actually bad. We need to try to get rid of these hacked emails, the spam, and basically you're finding it in our urine, which is incredible. Okay, a lot of this, it's validated, it's published. Still sounds a little bit like science fiction, but it is in market right now. So can you talk about how many people have used Craif? I know in particular in Japan, and just what the results have been of the use.
Yes, so it's available only in Japan right now. We have about 20 to 30,000 users. Over 50,000 tests are sold. A lot of people are now repeat users. They're taking our cancer tests repeatedly. So basically, we have publications for each cancer type validating the accuracy. And we also did the real world study in the northern area of Japan, and that's where we found the lung cancer, and we had positive predictive rate. Basically, the publication data is well in Japan. That's why we're expanding to the US, and we need to generate evidence here. But the technology itself is quite robust. There's of course rooms to improve, but yeah.
A couple of things we didn't talk about. I have so many questions for you. I So the accuracy is higher. It's non-invasive. It's significantly higher. Actually, I shouldn't say higher. You said
Mhm.
blood tests were around 30% success rate in stage one detection of colon cancer. Yours was about 93%. So orders of magnitude. What about costs? What's the differential between a typical blood test and your urine test?
Yeah, our test, we sell it in Japan about a little over than $400 USD. Some of the conventional like protein blood tests are cheaper than this. But the latest technology using blood is the companies in the US sell it like a little less than $1,000 or more. So compared to that, our test is, well, the country is different, so it's not apple to apple, but the cost is lower because it's urine test.
Yeah.
And also, a microRNA is a very short biomolecule, so compared to DNA, so we don't need a lot of reagents compared to DNA. So the cost is lower compared to blood DNA test.
Is there a difference in velocity in terms of speed or I guess quickness of testing that's associated with the ease of testing?
Yeah, we get back the results about 2 weeks in Japan. We can make it 1 week if there's more sample coming in. But yeah, it's okay.
When you're selling this, is it direct to consumer? Is it to insurance companies? I imagine they would theoretically love this because it's a lot better to pay for a $500 test than treatment of disease over multiple years. That can be thousands, hundred thousands, millions. Yeah, who's buying this?
Yes, distribution channel is diverse. The largest channel is actually D2C. About 40% of our users are from our website,
Oh well,
our original
yeah, of course,
website.
because they just want to
And
know. Yeah, and they'll pay out of
yeah,
pocket, I would assume too.
yes.
Yeah.
And the next big chunk is medical institutions, so clinics and hospitals. We now partner with 2,000 hospitals in Japan. The doctors, the physicians are providing the test to,
So they're in essence prescribing it almost, saying, "Hey, you
yes,
let's make certain." Yeah. Okay. Amazing.
they recommend it to people with higher risk, like familiar history, and health checkup. And also, Last year was a crazy year for the drugstore and
Yeah.
pharmacies. We just started last year, and
Yeah.
now it's introduced to 4,600 stores
Wow.
in Japan now.
Amazing.
So, and it's gonna be more in 26. And also, 500 companies introduced it as a beneficiary.
To their employees.
Employees, yeah. And some insurance companies are providing it to their users as a POC, but the regulations are very strict, so it's hard to change like the insurance price and all that. So it takes time. We need more real world evidence, but step by step we're proceeding.
Yeah, but the demand is definitely there. When was the company officially incorporated?
2018,
Okay, 2000. Okay, so 8 years. Okay. Yeah.
26, yeah,
Yeah.
when I found it, yeah,
Okay. You were 26 years old. You were
yeah,
this is
yeah.
wild, Ruichi. I am okay. I am curious just a little bit. You and I have talked about this, but I want to hear an update and if it's still in the vision, which is of course being Japanese. For me, one thing, many things Japanese are known for, but one is that they have the best, smartest toilets in the world. We have a Toto washlet at home. It's the best. And I'm just curious though, how it feels like it has to be a part of what you're going towards, which is a future in which just by going to the bathroom, you're able to detect if you have cancer at stage zero. And I imagine other things, but can you just paint a little bit of the vision of where this is heading?
Yeah, Daniel, that's a very important point. It's like first of all, like people aren't going to the hospital at the right time. So when you feel bad, that might be too late. And also, if you like annual health checkups, it's random, right? In Japan, it's mandatory for employees to do it, and usually the HR team pushes hard. In December, you need to go. We need to comply the law. But that's not ideal. There is always a biological change, so we should periodically check that.
Yeah,
And when that's wrong, you get a notification on your smartphone,
yeah,
and then we could do a more comprehensive test in the lab.
yeah,
So actually, we're launching a beta version this year. It's not going to be introduced in the toilet yet, but it's going to be a at-home test. That's gonna it's You don't even have to send the samples to the lab. It's going to be finished in your house. And this is amazing. We actually hired an engineer from Total that was trying to create a startup, and we met, and they
yeah.
were like, we should do it in Craif," and he joined. Eventually, we want to implement it into Toto's toilet, so it's normal to have these assays in the toilet. But
Yeah.
yeah, to start with, we're gonna launch an at-home test.
Okay, I have like five more questions, and then we're going to get into the deeper stuff here. But can you talk a little bit about? I can't believe you started this when you were 26 years old. You're 8 years into it, thousands of tests, multiple studies. It's validated. But on the business side, you're also growing substantially. Can you speak a little bit to the revenue growth, maybe year over year, or just how the performance
Mhm.
is of the company?
Revenue growth is over 300% 4 years in a row. We sold about 13 million last year, and this year we're expecting 33. So we want to go to triple growth again. Yeah.
Yeah. And how much capital have you raised to date?
Only equity about 30 million. Yeah.
But you've also had non-dilutive financing, I'm assuming government funding, research.
Yeah. In total, we raised like four, no, 60 million, 60 million, 60 million. Yeah, in total.
Huge congrats on all of this. Um, Last question that's kind of technical, although actually I shouldn't say that because we might go deeper on it. How are you using AI, machine learning, really bleeding edge technology that we're seeing explode everywhere in the process of analyzing the urine and the microRNA?
The algorithm is AI itself. It's a machine learning algorithm, but we try to keep it simple,
Yeah,
not complex,
yeah.
so we can understand if we made some mistake, what's wrong,
Hmm.
to fix it. On the other hand, we're working on automation of our assay, and think in like 2 years we can make it like fully automated with like no people involved. But in that area, AI and all those the softwares are deeply involved in the process.
Hey, so in a
Yeah.
couple of years, you'll be able to analyze the urine and distribute the results without any people in the lab needing to be a part of it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Hence, the smart toilet will happen at some point. This is so cool. Like truly smart toilet. It's a toilet that will save your life. Amazing. Okay, brother. Now I want to just explore you a little bit more because I know your background is not in medicine, it's not in biotechnology, it's not in microRNA. I don't think it's in artificial intelligence and machine learning. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were at I think Mitsubishi before. Is that right? So what the hell happened when you were 26 years old that gave you the permission to even start this business, let alone be CEO and run it until now? Where did this come from?
It's a long story.
Let's go there. We got time.
The starting point is
Mm,
when I was in America. It was
okay.
2000, 2005. I was in elementary school, and it's my first time living in.
What were you doing in elementary school in America?
I was just, actually my favorite was science. I like studying back then, and I was just doing soccer and just having fun in America.
Oh, I
But
mean, why did you come to the U.S.?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was my father's work.
Okay.
Yeah, he was working in New York, so I followed him. Back then, like made in Japan was a big thing, and it was my first time living in English country, and I was trying to adapt, and like people were really respecting the technology of Japan, so I was kind of like proud as a kid, and I really remember that strongly. And then when I started to work, and look at what's happening in the world, Japan's just nowhere in innovation. Large companies are doing okay, but
Yeah.
they're not creating something new and solving big problems.
Mm,
So I was quite disappointed to see
mm,
Japan's it was like stagnated, and I wanted to found a startup. So when I was in Mitsubishi in the second year, I felt a little kind of like depressed, kind of like first time in my life. Uh, I felt life isn't fun. I
mm.
just didn't like the. It's a great company. The big enterprise culture wasn't a good fit for me.
Yeah, I could see that. What were you doing at Mitsubishi? What was your role?
Yeah, I was doing LNG ship project management, the investment and project management.
That does sound a little boring for you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like it was like and the LNG project was like a $20 billion project. There was like 70 people involved, and I make no decisions, so like it wasn't a good fit for me. And then I was looking for something fun, and Airbnb came to Japan, and people said like you can kind of like create like a hotel
Yeah.
easily by
Yes.
just borrowing a room. So I started that business, and
So with your own apartment building, or how did that happen?
I just borrow another building, and weekly I go to IKEA, get IKEA, get bedrooms and prepare, and then I just do the messages by myself, and the foreigners come, and I just kind of had fun making money myself, and having interactions with them.
Yeah.
And then I created my own company, and I had like 50, 60 rooms, and I was also collecting like unused furnitures and leasing it,
Yeah.
and I started all that.
And you're like 24, 25, 23. How old are you at this point?
I think I was 24.
Okay, you're 24. You're still working at Mitsubishi though. You're doing
Yeah,
this on the side. Okay.
it was crazy. Like I came home at like 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. Um, and then I started doing my work. So I was like working until like 4 a.m. every day. And then I started to get really, really tired and like, a little burned out. So I learned that I need to hire people, and I started to hire people and kind of try and run it. But when I was doing that, I was fascinated by the concept of sharing economy, and it was really amazing to see just one new company creating like a new concept and like changing the economy. So like I was really fascinated by startup itself, and since I was in the energy sector, the clean energy thing it wasn't as exciting as now, but some people are saying that a big shift is going to come, and it
Yeah.
actually came much
Yeah.
faster than people were expecting. But
Hmm.
like, and then I was starting to get interested in these clean energy and these technology. So like I also got interested in deep tech. So deep tech and startup was kind of was the thing I was really fascinated. And I wanted to not just make money, but like build something meaningful. So I started to find a topic that I could really bet my whole life. And at that time, suddenly my grandmother was diagnosed stage 4 colorectal cancer,
Wow.
and she passed away in like 3 weeks.
Well, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, that was shocking. And then 3 months later, my grandfather was diagnosed with lung cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like cancer hit my life, and he was stage 2A. And
Yeah.
in lung cancer, you usually do some treatment. But my grandmother said, we're not doing anything. She's kind of like anti, like a doctor kind of.
Yeah. Did not want to be in the hospital getting treatment.
Yeah, so I was like, at least let's get a second opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had such a hard time trying to get one. So I was
Mm-hmm.
really frustrated, and I was thinking about creating a solution like quick online getting opinions more easily so people can make good decisions. Then I was looking for the solution, and then I was thinking of creating that solution. And then I met Takao, my co founder, who has technology to solve early cancer, to detect cancer early.
Yeah.
I was like, we should solve cancer in the first place
Yeah. Let's
instead of
just solve it.
yeah, and we don't need a second opinion if
Yeah.
we solve cancer. So here I am for some reason in the biotech field. Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Except, how did Takao discover this technology? Like, where did the ability to analyze urine and find microRNA using machine learning, where did that come from?
Yeah. So Takao is not a physician.
Yeah.
He's a engineer.
Yeah.
His expertise in engineering. That was the important point. So we look at microRNA, and it's encapsulated a thing called exosomes. And we didn't know what the function of the exosome was until like 2008, around there. Three researchers found out that this is an email of the cell, and one of them was Japanese, and the Japanese government funded him to create an early cancer detection assay
Ah, no
using
way.
that uh,
Okay.
with him.
Yep.
And he said that the bottleneck of creating an early cancer detection assay is enrichment of exosomes and microRNA. And he met Takao,
Yeah.
and he's a very talented young researcher.
Yeah.
And he said, "Can you build something?" He's like, "Okay." And everyone else was working on blood, but Takao was like, "Okay, let's try all the body fluid: blood, urine, saliva." And for some reason, the urine went very, very well. So he just kept on going, and he created this nanowire device to collect exosomes and microRNA from urine.
Mm-hmm.
And he published, it was end of 2017 when I was trying to create a second opinion platform. And then
And did you just find him online then? Like, you were in the middle of the night, or how'd you meet?
I met an investor in this field, and he wanted to fund Takao. But in Japan, there's no like serial entrepreneurs, professional CEOs
Yeah.
who can found a company. So he was
Yeah.
just finding someone that can do a CEO. And I told my boss I'm gonna quit.
Yeah. At
And
Mitsubishi.
back then, like
Yeah.
at Mitsubishi, yeah.
Yeah.
And back then, like startup was something everyone kind of like didn't trust
Especially,
in
yeah,
that.
in
It's like
Japan,
it's
that was a bold move to quit your, career tracked position with Mitsubishi and go into a startup, I imagine.
because Mitsubishi Corporation is like everyone wants to get
It's the
in.
top. Yeah.
It's a top, yeah. And my boss is like, "You're gonna quit. What are you gonna do?" And I said, "I'm gonna do a startup." "What startup?" And I said, "Oh, it's I haven't decided yet." He's
I
like,
haven't decided yet.
so like I was just a kid, 26-year-old kid that just had no job but willing to do a startup. And there's no one like that back then.
Mm,
So the investor thought I was kind of crazy, and
hmm.
crazy means good things in
Yeah.
startup. So he's like,
Yeah.
"You want to meet Takao if you want to do cancer?" I was like,
Uh,
"Sure." And we
Amazing.
met, and we're like, "Let's found a company."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So it was so synchronous that you got put in touch with the very person who, in essence, had the solution that you were personally looking for because of what had
Yeah.
happened with your grandparents. It was happening. This is the personal question. I'm curious. Do you believe in coincidences, or do you believe there was a bigger hand at play here? How do you relate to that?
I believe in coincidence. Yeah. There's a Japanese word, how do you say it in English? Called like connection, kind of.
Say it in Japanese.
En. En ga aru, which means like you and me meeting is like
Mm,
a miracle, right?
hmm. Very much so.
And I really think people I meet is something, there's a meaning to it.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's just a coincidence. There's a
Yeah.
meaning to it, but it's
Yeah.
up to you how you develop that connection. I kind of felt as this is my fate. Is that I don't know the right word? Yeah.
It seems to be that way. Yeah.
Like one story, like a really just the thing that happened to me right now.
Mm.
Like, fate loves irony. My father was diagnosed prostate cancer 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
And ironic part is that we added prostate cancer last July, and he took our test in May. So it was two months before we added prostate. Although he found the risk in like September, so
Mm-hmm.
it's not bad. It's just 2 months. I don't know the stage yet. I'm gonna get it in 2nd February, so in 3 days I'm gonna get it. So I think it's stage 2 or 3. So in
Mm.
that case, the survival rate is good. But
Mm.
you know, I
Surprising.
really, yeah, it's a present thing for me, and I think it'll be a early detection. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's the case, I'm very blessed. And so I just kind of re-recognize how important it is to keep on taking tests, detect cancer early. So like, yeah, I guess it's not just a coincidence I met the cow. I have to solve this problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing that, and I'm sorry to hear that news. And your dad will be in my thoughts and prayers, and hopefully it is what you think early, in that sense.
Yeah.
I am curious here. You mentioned you were like 24 years old. You'd get home from work from Mitsubishi at like midnight, which is insane in and of itself. And then you would work until 4 a.m. on your side gigs, and that was before you had a mission that feels like your life's work, and that is literally saving lives. And the faster you move, the more cancers you can detect, the more validation you get, the quicker you get into the US market, like all of these types of things, the more lives that get saved. How do you balance, something that has, it could be heavy. You could wear that in a really heavy way, saying I have to figure this out, this
Hmm.
is all I have to do. You can get maniacal, you could
Yeah.
lose yourself in it. But you feel to me like someone who really values balance and friendships and time with
Yes.
family and time for yourself. And so how do you, as a very mission driven now entrepreneur, think about balance and relate to it?
I try not to. There's a word called work-life balance.
Yeah.
I try not to think it as a separate thing.
Yeah.
I just think everything as one.
So it converges for you.
Yeah,
Mm.
but the structure is important. So like like for example, I will go pick up the kids 3 times a week
Yeah.
or 2 times a week, and then
Yeah.
also morning I take the kids 2 times a week or 3 times a week, and I just try to follow that as much as I can. And by doing that, I'm with the kids, and she's in front of me, so I can't, look at the smartphone and all that. So I just focus on what's in front of me. So I basically designed like my lifestyle so that there is portion of family and work, and when I'm working on that, I just focus on that, just
Hmm.
100% focus. So when
Yeah.
I'm in front of of course, like something is always running in my head. So I
Hmm.
sometimes like suddenly think up of an idea when I'm
Hmm.
in front of my daughter. That does happen, but basically I'm just focusing on conversation with her or my wife. Yeah, just focus. Yeah.
I was just talking with a friend who has two younger kids, and he was talking about how, they're such mirrors. Like, an example, if he's on his phone, his daughter will be like, you're looking at your screen too much. What are you doing? Like whatever. Like they can just be such mirrors without a polite veneer, because they're just speaking what they're seeing and what's true. I am curious, and I know you have two kids now, a very new one as well. Congratulations, brother. But
Thank
what
you.
has being a dad, what has your daughter in this case mirrored back at you? Like what have you learned about yourself through being a father?
Yeah, first of all, like kids are like a mirror, right? What they say, how they behave is all you.
Hmm. Interesting.
And they are much more focused than me. Like if I'm with her in the park,
Yeah.
she's 100% enjoying
The
the park.
park.
That's very, very important. So like when I was, in the Mitsubishi and like working until 4 a.m., even like 1 minute, if I'm in a toilet, I put like some Bluetooth earphones and like look at some information. If I'm not doing something, I think it's a waste of time. And I was like crazy trying to move things like to do two, three things at a time. But I thought this is wrong. you should focus on one thing. I totally quit that. And like when I look at the kids, I just like learn the importance of being like focused on one thing and just 100% your emotions, your head, just everything in there. And as a result, actually, my productivity, what I deliver, is better prior to without the kid. And I was first worried, like, because like hard work is my one of what was my identity, and the hours I work definitely decreased um, after I got a kid. But my productivity is obviously higher.
Yeah, it went up.
So yeah, and I
Mm,
think like I use my right brain
mm,
when I was a kid, so it's a very good time to just you know be very natural, enjoy life,
yeah.
and then when I'm back to work, I'm back to work. Like it's much more better than me. It's balancing me very well.
It's what you're sharing is it's balancing you, um but what it sounds like it's really teaching you is presence. And that presence, whether it's in the moment or it's with your daughter or your wife or it's with work, whatever that is, whatever you're present with, you're getting, much more out of that experience, including productivity and work, even though the hours are much more confined and limited, which is a huge gift. Are there any practices that you have to cultivate that sense of presence?
Go to mixed martial arts gym, MMA gym, every weekend, and it's 100% presence because if you don't focus, you
Yeah, you
get like
get your
punched
ass
in your
kicked.
face. Yeah. And after I finish training, it feels like I guess my all my like everything I just release it there. So I
Mm,
feel very peaceful. And by having that every weekend, that's
mm.
one good rhythm. And also the kids is my like
Yeah,
daily.
grounding. Yeah. Because, yeah, now you have goalposts on your day when you like really
Yeah,
show up, and it's a big reminder.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, now let's go to your right brain a little bit. The creative side of Ruichi, the younger child within this brilliant man, which is, and I know you think about this probably all the time. We talked a little bit about the future toilet that is going to tell me if I have stage 0 cancer across many types by the time that that becomes a reality. But I'm curious, are there any other uses other than cancer detection? Are there other diseases or ailments that you can catch, at remarkably early stages through urine analysis with the machine learning algorithms that you're using
Yes. So microRNA is also a good biomarker for dementia and diabetes,
for
and
dementia?
also other.
Wow,
Yes,
wow,
yes.
wow.
So we want to in future expand.
Hmm.
We're going to launch a product. It's more of a conventional metabolic biomarker, but one
Okay,
for dementia, second half of this year in
wow.
Japan. It's when this metabolic increases, the risk of dementia increases. So like it's
Mm,
kind of like a very like a risk screening test. But yeah, in future we could definitely do that.
yeah.
And also there's one product I really want to ship,
Mm,
which like really saved me. So like
mm.
for I was 21, I wasn't able to sleep.
You were not able to sleep.
Yeah, I
Wow,
woke up like four times in one night.
wow.
So like after lunch, I always get sleepy, and
Yeah.
I just didn't know why. I wasn't like stressed out in fundraising or
Mm,
anything. But I just
mm.
couldn't sleep. So and then I met this number one KOL in Japan for gene and nutrition,
Okay.
and I learned about myself, and I started like gluten free,
Yep.
like, as Unreasonable does, and I
Yep.
changed all my habitats, which is a good fit for me. And now I can sleep very well. And I want to, and you have to wait 3 years to meet this physician right now because he's so popular and everyone's feeling better. I'm like, yeah. So I want to provide this to everyone. So like in future, like I want to change the whole healthcare value chain. So there's a toilet that always looks at biological changes, and then you do a more comprehensive test like our early cancer test.
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm considering to buy health checkup hospitals in Japan
Mm,
so that we could connect this as one value chain,
amazing.
and also like have like a AI coach not like a general one like ChatGPT,
Yeah.
but more specialized in gene and nutrition, so that I could demo democrat like I could provide what I got to everybody.
You could democratize it.
Democratize it, yeah. That's it. So like that's what I'm trying to build. So understand yourself in the first place, check the biological changes, and try to make all the experience better for hospital and clinics. Go to the right clinics at the right time, and we can follow up in that platform so that can really live healthy and energetic.
You are literally creating the future that I am. I remember talking with friends about this like a decade ago. You could tell I'm obsessed with the toilet because I was like, there's going to be a time when you go to the bathroom and it will analyze your markers and then it will tell you this is the nutrition that you're missing. I'm curious from your perspective, how much, if you're catching cancers at stage 0, can you
Mhm.
actually cure them because it's so early on with dietary changes, or do you need to have a medical intervention, or do you know at this stage?
We need medical intervention, basically just cutting it.
Yeah, because it's so early in that sense. So in the future, what you are really trying to do here, what you will do, is use highly individualized data that is collected regularly through your urine to be able to say, hey, you potentially have this disease, whatever it might be, dementia, diabetes, any type of cancer, but you're catching it extremely early, so it never becomes an issue if you treat it right away. And you're also, though, going to be looking at just in general their health indicators and be able to have an AI coach that says, hey, for your body right now, these are the things that it's really asking for. It's deficient on, or you have too much of, whatever it might be, which would lead to likely the prevention of some diseases that don't even get to stage 0, but also just a much higher quality of life. Is that fair to say?
Yep, that's exactly what I want to do. Yeah.
Ryuichi, how do we help you on this journey from taking what you're doing in Japan? Because now I'm jealous of all of your Japanese sisters and brothers who have access to what you're doing. What is the process for bringing this to the US right now?
We are starting with pancreatic cancer in the US, specialize in pancreatic cancer for high risk patients, people like new onset diabetes, pancreatitis, and get reimbursement
Yep.
so that people can access to it. And it's pancreatic is terrible in the United. Oh, it's terrible everywhere, but in the United States, over half of the people is found at stage 4,
Wow.
which is 3% survival rate and
Wow.
5 year survival rate. So like it's terrible, but over 75%, up to 90% of the high risk people aren't screened,
Are not screened.
are not screened.
Wow.
And we need to solve this. And the US government is really pushing hard on this.
Okay.
But the solution we have is the EUS.
What's that?
It's ultrasound.
Got it.
Yeah, ultrasound endoscopy, which is quite invasive, and it's only in academic centers. So the access is poor, so people aren't taking it. So, but if you can do a home urine test, why not, right?
Wow.
So we are working on first establishing a US optimized algorithm for
Yep.
US population,
Yep.
and then we'll work on validation, trying to launch it in 28 to start with, and then we'll increase cancer types and eventually launch a multi-cancer screening test.
Yeah.
So we could save people in America. Yeah.
And when you said make the algorithms work in the US, is that because in Japan the society is like largely more homogeneous on a genetic level, or what's
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
That's why. Okay.
And also, people eat different things. The environment is different, so the data changes a little. So it's better to collect samples locally, although the basic technologies are the same.
So
It's
interesting.
kind of like optimizing.
It feels like to play the game you're playing and your team is playing, you hold both impatience and patience as virtues, right? Because of course, to
Hmm.
come into the U.S. healthcare system, it's a process. Um, and probably part of you is like, but this is working and this is validated already and so on. But of course, you want to take your time with it. How do you relate to that feeling of patience and impatience?
Can you repeat your question? What do you mean that piece?
Do you get frustrated with the amount of time it takes to like bring this technology that is so life-saving into new markets? And how do you kind of deal with that frustration if you do?
I'm always feeling frustration because
Yeah.
what I want to do is way ahead from the reality.
Yeah.
But so I feel frustration, although it's very exciting to make it actually happen. And the most exciting moment is when we hear stories of patients actually saved. That just empowers me so much. I can
Mm.
keep moving forward. The lady
Mm.
that found stage 0 lung cancer, she totally cured,
Yeah.
and she reflected her life, and she wanted to travel a lot, but she haven't. So she quit her job and she's traveling all around Japan
Mm.
with her family. And
Mm.
it's awesome to hear that story, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how it should be. So
Mm.
like these these are the moments like that I really get empowered and pushes me forward.
Yeah.
So it's just again focusing
Yeah.
on what I can do, what I need to do
Yeah.
in order to realize our vision.
I want to go actually like way back now. Because we talked about, okay, you came to the US, your dad's work pulled him to New York. You came, you did elementary school here, you went back to Japan, you're frustrated with the lack of innovation, so on and so forth. But how how did your upbringing inform who you've become or like the posture energy that you have? Because I will say, not everybody is motivated by helping others, especially those who they don't even know. Like there's all sorts of types of motivations in this world, but yours feels to me like it's really emanating from your heart. And I'm just curious what it was like being young Ruichi, and what your upbringing was that made you who you are.
Yeah, I lived in Indonesia before I came to the US. So since first grade of elementary school, I lived abroad. And then when I came back to Japan in middle school, when I'm in the US or Indonesia, I really feel that I'm a Japanese person.
Yeah.
But when I go back to Japan, they see me as like American people.
Oh,
So like,
amazing.
who am I? I'm always like a
Uh,
minority, and
interesting. You're always a misfit.
yeah, but being the minority, you really appreciate the people that are generous to you. Like when I'm in America, my English is not fluent. There's a lot of kind people that help you. Like all these, terrible things that happen in the world is usually like really, really little people.
Yeah.
Most of the people are very nice people.
Yeah. Few people, big headlines. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Hmm.
like a lot of people helped me in America, and like when I went back, and like I'm American. It looks like I'm American people.
Mm.
Some people, some these bad guys bullied me, but the guys, I joined a baseball club, and the guys in the baseball club helped me like, hey, stop, and like they kind of treated me as a friend. Like these
Mm.
experiences, like I learned that like people are kind, and like so I
Mm.
wanted to help
Mm.
because I got helped a lot. So like
Yeah.
when I'm in Japan and like there's tourists, that's kind of like Japanese train and transportation is so
Yeah.
complex. So like they're lost. I really want to help them because
Yeah.
like I really understand how they are feeling. Yeah, yeah. So like I think these experiences really taught me the great it's the it's great part about it's a good part about human is
Mm.
a lot of people are actually kind. Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. I am curious now that like empathy for others, how does that show up with you as a CEO and as a leader? And both maybe how it shows up in terms of how you run the company, or
Mm.
maybe places where you've fallen short, however you want to interpret that. But I'm curious what I know you as a friend and as of course a CEO in the fellowship, but not as a CEO that I report into. I'm curious what your approach is to leadership.
Actually, I talk exactly like this in the company. So like Daniel, I want you to see it, but like we have like a 60, 70 people. We do like an offsite. Um, we're doing like a super transparent, open session like we did in Unreasonable. People sometimes start crying about what they're struggling about. Like we all first clap
Mm.
and we all accept it and we all discuss. So like I
Mm.
guess like this kind of personality create a culture of like being vulnerable
Yeah.
and at the same time like it's important to achieve things. So
Yeah.
there's culture of achievement and also
Yeah.
being empathy, being vulnerable. Like these kind of
Yeah.
like well balanced in Craif. Yeah.
This is now total outsider in that sense from Japanese
Uh-huh.
culture. There's I would say there's a lot of stereotypes in terms of how to do business in Japan, right? A lot of it is you don't get home until midnight. You're with the same company. In essence, these are the stereotypes. Your whole life, you go out and drinking is a part of that, like within your own teams, like and really sticking together. Like, what aspects have you taken from traditional Japanese business cultures? And you can correct me if I'm wrong on some of those too. And then what aspects are you just doing totally differently?
Speaking with totally different is um, we just evaluate people from what they're delivering.
Yeah,
So it's the evaluation system is close to the Western style, I
yeah,
believe. What we have like as a Japanese aspect is like we're I think very close. Like for example, even in weekends, like sometimes we do camping, we and all that. But
yeah,
what's different from traditional Japanese company is you have to go in traditional Japanese companies. The
yeah.
pressure is very
The
high.
pressure's
If you
really
don't
high.
go, yeah, you're
Yeah.
treated as like a person like that you just hate the company.
Like an
But
outsider.
in Craif,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In Craif, we understand that family time is important, and people, some people aren't married, so like
Yeah.
they love to have time on the weekends. Some
Yeah.
people have families, so
Of
like
course.
it's totally free,
Yeah.
and you can bring your kids to any company event. This kind of like created like a culture both happy for people that are single and people that have
Mm.
a family, and they just and sometimes not sometimes but very rare, but my colleague picked up my kids when my wife and me are both have to work, so like
Yeah.
we kind of have a very open culture, a mix of Western and Eastern style. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. We're almost here at time. I am curious though, the work you're already doing is remarkable. And the results, they're so good. I usually have to ask you two or three times to get my head around these levels of efficacy and the results that you're seeing. The future you've painted around preventative, personalized medicine and healthcare, I would say. Like, we're really caring for the person and their health in a very early preventative way. And even around behavioral change. It's incredible. It seems like it's exactly where these systems want to be moving. You're at the front lines of it. You're kind of pulling, I feel like, healthcare systems towards this brighter future. What do you think is going to be hardest about realizing the potential? And by the way, I kept saying Craif, and it's not how you pronounce it. You're saying, how do you pronounce it? I want to make sure to get
Craif.
Craif. You've corrected me like 20 times. Craif. Sorry, bro. So, what do you think is going to be hardest about Craif realizing its full potential?
The hardest part is the nature of human, which
Mm,
is we are all lazy people.
mm,
Even if you understand that prevention is important, people don't do it.
mhm.
And they really regret when something happens to you. Like both of us, like we changed our lifestyle after we experienced
Yes.
some difficulties, right?
Yeah. Totally right.
So that's the hardest part. That's why I need to make it easy as possible, automated as possible, so that even if you don't do anything, you're automatically prevented. That's the ideal. And we need to do that unless, like, if you don't do that, I think we can't save everyone. So it needs to be something super easy, automated, and like you don't even notice.
Yeah. The Craif Toto toilet. I still love it. Even to get there, because that's clearly where you're going, like in between now and then, what do you see as the hurdles for the business?
It's my first time doing business in the US.
Hmm.
So I need to build a very trustful team here
Yeah.
from scratch. And the great news is I signed a great person
Mm.
this week,
Congrats.
and he's coming in as executives from Monday.
Amazing.
So yeah, I hope I can build a great team and culture together. But that's one challenge. I think everything is the team because
Yes.
technology and science, yes, there are challenges, but we have a great team, and I
Hmm.
believe we can always overcome it.
Yeah.
But always the team with energy, with love,
Yeah.
and with high ethical values is very important. All of them has to be there. So
Mm.
I need to reproduce that in the
Yeah.
US, and
In the
I believe
US.
I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it will take time. Son. It will take some time.
You can and you
Yeah,
will. But for those who are tuning into this, what types of roles are you looking to fill here in the US?
literally, literally all.
You're standing up a company in essence. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Scientist, but we all the corporate roles are open.
Yeah.
And I would love to work with people that can handle KOLs, build KOL relationship.
Yeah.
We need to work on that in the US.
Yeah. What is what? So those who can will know what that is, but I don't know what that is. What is that?
Oh, a key opinion leader. So like great doctors, physicians,
Understood.
who's like the key person. Yeah, yeah. And we're going to run a clinical study. We need people related to that.
Yeah.
Just everything. Oh, and software engineers. We want to automate everything,
Yeah.
and including all the work, even like business and corporate work. And we're working on that in Japan,
Yeah.
and we're bringing it to here. So
Yeah.
software engineers are also.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Are you currently fundraising? Are you raising capital again?
Yeah. We're raising capital again. About 2/3 is filled right now, but we're filling the rest 1/3. So
Yeah.
if anyone's interested,
Yeah.
please
Yeah.
text me. Yeah.
Phenomenal. So in essence, if anybody wants to be a part of the future that you're pulling into the present, which is a future that is incredible, just to say, one, you're looking to build a team. Specifically, right now you're calling it from San Diego. So is it a remote team or do you want people in San Diego?
People in San Diego right now. Yeah.
If you're not in San Diego right now and you're listening to this and you can join his team, you get to move to one of the sunniest places in the country with a great beach or many beaches, which is great. If you are an investor and a capital allocator, my bias is I am invested. We have syndicated, but to be a part of what you're building and to be able to ride that journey with you just seems like an incredible opportunity. Are there other ways that anyone who's tuning into this could become a part of the solution?
Yes, researchers, scientists who's interested in us, please
Mhm.
contact us because we
Mhm.
want to have studies in the US and yeah, generate evidence. So yeah,
Amen. Well, if somebody wants to contact you or the company, what's the best way to do that?
LinkedIn, please message me on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We will have a link to your LinkedIn profile. No problem. That'll
Thank you.
be easy. All right, brother. Well, I think it's probably time to wrap the conversation up. But I want to say, with all my mind, all my heart, and just my whole self, how much of a privilege it is to be even in the smallest way, be on this journey with you, be supporting you and the work that you're leading, because it's rare to come across for me a solution that feels not only that the solution of the technology is inevitably going to be the future, but that you are the person and you all are the team to really do that. We didn't talk about your IP and your moat and everything else that's tied there. Everybody who's tuning in know it's there. I had that there. You're not just well positioned to do this. You are doing it, and you mentioned the word love in terms of the values that your company lives by, and for me to imagine a future healthcare system that emanates from a place of love and that uses the deepest technology and the smartest algorithms that we have to help ensure that we're all healthier and that we're living longer and that we're living better. It's really a gift. So thank you for the time. Thank you for being an Unreasonable Fellow, for showing up for this conversation. And when I come out to California or Tokyo, I'm gonna let you know because a reunion is definitely in order.
Thank you, Daniel. I got really empowered. It was awesome to catch up with you. It's a great time.
Always fun. Always fun. And please let me know when I could do the test here in the US. If not, I'm going to Japan and we're just going to do it there.
Yeah, when you come to Japan, you can do it.
Okay, great.
I'll try my best to deliver in the US.
All right, we just won't tell anyone. Appreciate you, brother. Wishing you a beautiful afternoon and evening ahead. I look forward to the next conversation.
Likewise. See you again, Daniel.
Yeah, see you soon, Ryuichi. Well, that so concludes our very first episode of our podcast, Unreasonable Stories. I'm Daniel Epstein, your host. I am grateful for the time that we got to spend together and for our investigation into what the future of our healthcare system just might look like. On next week's episode, we're going to dig into our oceans and what a economic reality can look like for our marine construction environments that leads to greater biodiversity and that leads to healthier waterways. The entrepreneur who's going to take us there, his name is Ido Sella. He's an Unreasonable Fellow. He's co-founder and CEO of an absolutely brilliant breakthrough company called eConcrete. They're changing our marine ecosystems around the world, and we're going to get a chance to hear the story behind the headlines and to hear the untold story of another unreasonable person named Ido Zella. I hope you'll join me next week, and I'm wishing you a beautiful week between now and then. Thanks so much.